Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pride Pod. We're live November 11th, 8:05 p.m. Thank you for your support. My name is Luis Carlos Pineda. I'll be your host today. I'm here with John. Today, we're going to be discussing, I think this is the wrong one, John, but we're going to be talking about the semifinal game, Orlando Pride, and Orlando City. I'm sure both fan bases are going to be going to this game, semifinal game at home, at 3 p.m. semifinal game on Sunday. We're also going to be reviewing the phenomenal win 2-0, a lot of grit and resilience against the Seattle Reign. Phenomenal game by Marta, the GOAT. We're also going to be talking Marta's reaction and how she was able to sprint 70 yards around the left flank. We're also going to be talking about the NWSL playoffs and what are our predictions for what's next. Also, Atlanta is getting an NWSL team, putting a little bit of fire on the Pride. Are they going to go ahead and be the rivals? Are we going to actually have a rivalry finally? And we're going to preview Orlando Pride versus Gotham FC. We're going to have a guest. It's going to be Gary from Soccer Over Gotham podcast. So Soccer Over Gotham podcast. You can check them out. They are on X as well. They're on Blue Sky, and also they are on YouTube. And they just had an interview with the VP of Brand and Fan Experience, Laura Petro from Gotham. So big podcast. So we're going to be talking and going in detail about what's up between Pride and Gotham in this second semifinal back-to-back for the Orlando Pride. So last pod, John, we discussed and, kind of previewing these NWSL playoffs. And I said, what would happen if they knock out KC? And everybody was like, no, I don't think, I think you're going too far, Lewis. I think this is, and, this is a heartbreak for them 2 years in a row. They looking like they're, the best team ever. They get all the press from the NWSL, all the press from all the pundits, and then they choke right at the end, and yeah, I think this third year it's going to be probably a rebuilding KC mode, in my opinion, because I don't think they'll be able to afford all those contracts. But again, that's just my opinion. What's up, John? How you feel? I feel happy, man. I'm excited for this semifinal. At first, I didn't have a lot of hope, but now I truly believe fully.
Yeah, man, that definitely put a smile on my face when I, watching. You're like, uh-oh. But last year we saw that we got to the top of the league, and like, okay, then it's like, great, you got the shield, but can you go ahead and then, repeat that? We stumbled at the end of our league season last year, and then here you go, KC right out of the blocks, stumbling in the playoffs. They were out some big players. It makes a difference in this league. It does make a difference. But we're not really built on our star players. We're built on grit and determination. And that grit and determination, Luis, was back once again for the playoffs, as Orlando Pride is like, we're going to finally figure out how to get our clean sheets back and also start scoring more than one goal a game and somehow beat Seattle Reign 2-0. A real, impressive performance. I think at this point, the experience this squad gained from last year and just being that playoff team is really going to come into its own. And we saw that against Seattle. Whether we'll see that again against Gotham, hopefully so. But this team is gritty, it's determined, and it can beat anybody on its day as long as we are defensively strong, like we saw against the Seattle Reign. So if that team shows up, Orlando Pride could double down, as they like to say, and we can, lift the NWSL trophy once again this year.
Yeah, 100%.
Which I did not think like halfway through the season at all. So
yeah, I totally agree with you. And I wanted to show the actual, talking about that. I want to go ahead and look for the first. We're going to be talking about the semifinal game, but I wanted to talk about something that the whole community has been speaking about, and I think we should touch it as a first off. And let's talk about this video right here. Hold on, I'm trying to look for it right here. This right here. Let's talk about this video. Thank you to Pry or Die. And if you can drop your comments on the comment section. And again,
I knew this was going to come up at some point in the pod, but I'm not surprised that we're 5 minutes in talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's hot right now. I just think that this is something that we should really talk about. I mean, it's just.
No, it's true. I mean, it's
I
a
think
wild
for
statement.
Marta to tweet something, I don't think she's tweeted in there for months, years, maybe. It just had to be said, and let's just watch and then let me know what you think.
You know what I'm saying? So then even if you just go body for body, 1v1s, player for player, Gotham just has stars, bro. They just have the players that come alive in the most important moments, and they don't make those mistakes. Orlando has arguably one star.
Mic drop. I love it.
You know what I'm saying? So then even if you...
Now,
I don't love it. Ex-player of ours, Darian Jenkins, by the way.
I'm pissed off, man. But go ahead. You tell me what you think about what
I just honestly, for me, I'm tired. Like I'm not that. Look, there's the pundits around the league. They're never going to give us our flowers. They're not. It doesn't. It's just the same all the time. They always want to find someone else that's going to be a more interesting storyline, or some other team that's going to be the one. I mean, we are literally the champions from last year. Not only of one of the trophies, we won the double last year, and we're coming into this season. Yeah, we don't have Barbara Banda, and yet we ended 4th in the season. Still got one of the best defenses in the league. So I think this idea of like one star, I think is crazy. I think that's a wild statement to make, because I will tell you right now, Emily Sams is an absolute star center back in this league. Haley McCutcheon is a star defensive midfielder in this league. We have several star players throughout our team. And also, like I said before, we're not built on star. That's the Gotham, whatever way of like, let's just throw enough big names at it and hope they all gel together. That's how they want to do things. That's just not what the Orlando Pride is. We're much more gritty and determined, and act as a cohesive unit, and are more about the collective and hard work, and like blue collar mentality, just like Haley McCutcheon was saying in the press conference after the win against Seattle. So yeah, it's just, look, I'm not a big fan of Zerboni anyway, but yeah, you say stuff like this, you're gonna frustrate and piss off a lot of the Orlando Pride fans, and rightfully so, because it's just what a wild non-statement to say. And you see with Marta, though, it's fuel to the fire, right? I mean, we're gonna talk about her press conference speech at some point, but I mean, just more of this is like, great, you're just throwing more fuel on the fire, because you're just gonna incite more and more passion out of our team that wants to go out there and prove all these people wrong, that just clearly, don't want to acknowledge that we are one of the best teams in this league, and will definitely be a hot contender to win the whole thing now in the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised that after Zerboni said that, you have a lady wearing the Mexican national team jersey, and you have a former Orlando Pride player that I think Orlando Pride was her last team, and I mean, you have to understand she's really not had the hottest. I mean, if you want to be completely honest, and if Zerboni is honest, then I'll be honest too. She hasn't really had the best soccer career compared to other people from her class, you know. And you had this lady wearing the Mexican jersey, and they are quiet.
Sandra Herrera.
They don't say absolutely anything to her. Neither, to add to the fire, then you have a former Marta teammate say mic drop. So, you know, to me, it's just like, what the hell is going on here? Zerboni, I'm not surprised. She's had her issues already within Gotham. She made despicable remarks before. I don't want to get into it, but you know, people that know the league know what she said. You know, in 2022, you know, Darren Jenkins, again, you know, great for being a Pride player, but you know, it's just a very no, I wouldn't say mediocre, but a very slow paced career compared to other ones in her list. And then the other lady, I don't know who she is. I mean,
Sandra
maybe,
Herrera, she's like a big time reporter in NWSL.
yeah.
And,
So,
but I think she does have some Mexican roots, I think, as well. So
yeah, but
maybe
you
I'm wrong
know,
about that.
dile algo, señorita, que tiene la camiseta de México.
No
Dígale
sé.
algo a su amiga. Say something to your friend. Like,
I
come
look,
on,
man.
like,
It's like I said, I'm not surprised because it's there are some outlets out there that give us our flowers. Like I want to shout out to ITC, you know, those guys over there, you know, obviously they covered the team, but they, you know, they give us a fair flowers and they're saying, hey, that the Orlando Pride definitely are a hot team to go and win it. And there are other good, you know, things out there. But I think the mainstream of what we see is definitely always leaning towards KC or your Gothams. And that's just the way it is, right? No one likes Orlando Pride. And in some ways, that's the kind of the way we like it, right? We
and
don't
then
want. I don't want to be the league's darling because I don't want that. You know, I don't need that. I'm not interested in that. What I want to do is win trophies and winning trophies. You know, if we do that, then I think we should do a whole slogan about how we're 2-star Orlando Pride and just really rub it in. Rub it in. Just be like, hey, we're
well,
2-star
it's
Orlando
like,
Pride now.
yeah, it's like you said, you know, I mean, they mentioned the 1 star, and in a way, we do have kind of 1 star in our crest, you know, and you know, I think Orlando's poised to have 2 stars on their crest. So I just feel it was disrespectful for the fans. But again, like you said, you know, we're not surprised of this kind of treatment. I think the whole hype going from Kansas City, that they're like praising that they're like the best thing since Coca-Cola, you know, is the last Coke of the desert, KC. You know, they're like pioneers and trailblazers of the sport, you know. Right? And now all that hype is being Control C, Control V to Gotham now. Apparently, it seems now everybody was Gotham to win the big one. Can Gotham pull it through? They're mentioning Emily Sonnet and all of that. So, you know, again, this is a really cruel sport, and as you saw how, you know, what happened with KC and also what happened to Seattle. You know, you have teams that are very hungry that they want to win. Orlando Pride showed that against Seattle, and Portland showed that as well, that they
Well,
wanted to win.
I also think that like to completely take Zerboni's argument, I just, you know, forget the hate or whatever that's there. Let's just deconstruct her stupid point.
Yeah.
We just watched KC get, you know, decimated because they don't have their star players. And we haven't had like arguably our star players all year. Our argument that we only have 1 star and that's Marta,
That's
and that's our team.
ridiculous.
Like she's scored 4 goals all year. 3 of them have been penalties. So I don't really see how that is like we're being carried by Marta. That's just
Yeah.
really not the case. If anything, we're being carried by Banda at times, and then we've learned how to survive without her. So I think that's just a wild statement that doesn't actually have any foundation of truth to it. So I think, yeah, it just doesn't really make sense to say that that's our whole season has been about Marta. It clearly hasn't. There are other teams in this
100%.
league that really that they have, and we saw that with KC. Like I said, they have fallen apart without their star players, and they don't know how to do it without them. This team is not like that. I mean, we don't, yes, we might miss Barbara, but we're not going to suddenly just give up and throw in the towel because we lost one player.
If the Pride are able to pull this off without Banda, and you're gonna have 2 stars on their crest by the end of the year, and massive celebrations, and I believe the ownership is gonna probably open the wallet even more next season, and they're probably gonna get a 3rd star. I guarantee you, this team is ready to take as much heat as possible. And like John was saying, and I do want to add to that, it's a disservice to the Haley McCutcheons, it's a disservice to the Corey Dykes, it's a disservice to the Penn State program, where we got 2 of the top like collegiate level stars. Is a disservice to Zara Shavoshi from Wake Forest. It's a disservice to Emily Sams from FSU. It's just a disservice to a lot of the young squad that we have, to the coaching staff, because you have to understand, Seb had to reinvent the wheel 3 times in this freaking league. You play the same teams almost 3 times. So by getting to this stage without your like a world caliber striker, probably compared to like a really good player, one of the top players in the world, it's very great, and with a lot of youth, and with the resilience, yes, with the experience of Marta, especially on that 70-yard sprint run. But then again, this is going to fuel the players. I think they've awakened a beast that was already waking up. They already awakened the beast. I think Gotham, it's not going to know it. It's going to hit them. And Marta went on X and she wrote this, and I quote, "Sometimes when you're an average athlete and you end your career, you often do much better commentating on games, etc. But in some cases, that doesn't happen." Hashtag MZ, for I guess she mentioned, Zerboni, right? And then
What
she
does
put
MZ stand for? No, I'm kidding.
She put this weird face.
I love that. I think this is
It's
that face.
I was like,
the oh dear face,
that's like mic drop right there.
I like it. Marta don't give a F. I respect her for this. She's like, look, you're gonna say stuff like that. Let me just end you in one tweet.
Yeah, it says here, of all said words, we're gonna print these. We're gonna print this for the game. So it's talking BS.
Please.
Talking
BS. Put that on a piece of paper and hand it out to everybody.
Talking BS out of your behind gets more clicks than things that make factual sense. Sandra not pushing back when we sign Ovalle. Also, she's a king of Liga MX. Is crazy work. Yeah, I honestly, I'm sorry if I didn't know who she was. I don't consume their podcast, to be honest with you, and that's not an insult or anything. Just that honestly, I don't have the time. But I was just like, you're wearing a Mexican jersey, you're not pushing back. Like, that seems kind of stupid in my opinion. We're gonna print these for the game. Yes, print 1,000. I'll hold it at the match. The Shinta prior died. The silence after her spiel was proof that they didn't agree with her. I don't know, man. I mean, when you say mic drop, you just, to me, it sounds like you kind of, I don't know. I mean, I understand that we're on the click game and all of that, but I really don't. I think they agree with her. I do. I think they want Gotham to win. I mean, they can just be straightforward, say, "Hey, yeah, we want Gotham to win." A3 hasn't been never a serious outlet. Shinta always hitting on Orlando, disappointing in Darian. She's the only good one on that program.
I'm also disappointed in Darian because I feel like she does say a lot of good things. Usually, I have my, I like some of I'll watch it. I like some of what they have to offer. I'll watch anybody's content that they make about NWSL or MLS or whatever, though. So I don't feel like my bar is that high. But yeah, of the commentators, I do feel like Darian is one of the better ones. So I was a little disappointed that she didn't kind of stand up for Orlando. And I think that's something we just see a lot here is there's just like the common trend is to to not vote for us and just to be like, oh yeah. So I think it's something that we'll see. But let's talk about the game.
Yeah, I'm looking at right
Orlando
now.
Pride 2, Seattle Reign 0. I mean, we got the clean sheet back, Luis. Anna Morehouse in this one didn't make any blunders. She performed really well.
And when Orlando
made several good saves. So
yeah, she made 8 total saves, and she had a massive save with the inside of her foot. I'm, again, like you said, John, she's hot and cold, but as long as she's
great. If that's Anna's here,
exactly, that's
awesome.
the Anna that we want to see.
Yeah, no mistakes and some great last minute saves. That's a recipe for clean sheets all day.
Yep. And so, obviously, I believe this is the lineup that Orlando Pride needs to be putting out every game moving forward. I think
that back four has got to be the back.
I think
well,
that back.
I mean, sorry, I'm blanking now. Oyane at right back potentially. If she's coming back from injury instead of Corey, but also Corey's great there.
I like Oyane as a sub. Be honest with you,
off the bench, she does make that impact. Like she's great as a sub at right wing as well.
Yeah. Obviously, these 3 right here. I'm super proud of Ali Lemos. I felt her defensive work was spot on. Angelina still kind of a little bit. I mean, she had a couple of moments, but just not a lot of offensive prowess that I expected. But Haley McCutcheon, she's to me the heart of this team. I mean,
coming in the clutching.
She can do absolutely everything, and she showed it. Marta, obviously, the GOAT. Yaki Ovalle, also great. They were fouling her a lot, I felt, several times. And then Julie Dole up top, which I think she's also helping the defending portion, and making sure that she's helping out, to stop a transition attack from the rival team. Yeah. When these changes were made in the second half, then you had obviously Luana coming in. You had Oyane coming in, Carson Pickett coming in, and I think that's kind of now the blueprint of what this Pride is going to be, in my opinion. And I think I like it. I mean, I still feel that we struggled to score a little bit. I wish Doyle was a little bit more versatile to kind of put on goal the balls from Ovalle and Marta, but sometimes I feel like Marta tries to like do almost everything in the attacking third, and then she's already too tired to to score the finishing touch, right? Or she doesn't have anybody that it's right side by side with her she could pass the ball to. And that was kind of like some of the things that we have to be a complete different team without Barbara Bennett. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just like, I think attacking wise, we have to be able to be recuperating the ball in the middle, kind of like what we did with our Marta sprint. And also when we have the balls and we have the chances, just score them. The set piece are also going to be huge for the Pride. I think the Pride needs to try to score goals off the set piece. I think there's going to be a huge weapon in their arsenal. But yeah, I think this is going to be the lineup, but moving forward, we could see the first goal for Orlando. Let's see here.
I feel like the defense is there that we saw last year at this point in playoffs. I feel like we're back to that, really strong defensive outlet that we've had. Even the two, the defensive mids in front of the back line are doing a really good job protecting the back line. But yeah, really all season our attack has been, struggling for goals. The wingers haven't really been contributing. Ovalle has come in and done something, but hasn't really been scoring goals. So I think that we need to see, a little bit more clinical play. And in this game, we did see that. We did kind of take our chances when they came up. There weren't a lot of chances, but we did take them. So if we can stay in a game and keep a clean sheet like we did this one, and then do take the full small amount of chances that we are creating, quality chances, we take 1 or 2 of those. That's the recipe, for how we progress in these playoffs. So great to see that's who we are, but I don't expect us to suddenly start scoring 3 or 4 goals a game. I still think, like you said, Louise, we're going to be struggling. Whoever that 9 is, are they going to get a goal? Whoever the wingers are they going to get a goal, etc. We've just been struggling to have anybody step up and put the ball in the back of the net. So that's why McClutchin coming up in playoffs, if she's back from last year, I'll score a goal every playoffs, McCutcheon, then maybe she's the one to drag us all the way to the lifting another cup.
100%. And right here, let's watch the goal. I think it was a beautiful goal for Haley.
Marta.
Just look at that pass, man.
The return. Doyle crossing. McCutcheon! She's got a knack for it!
Good for her.
Another playoff goal!
Now, she did it with the inside of her foot. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I think the keeper was a little bit out of position. I think she was a little late.
For Haley McCutcheon!
It's all about
But look
creating
at that.
better.
That's Julie Doyle right there with a phenomenal play. Playing a winger kind of position, we kind of more suits her if you think about it.
Well, she drifted out there from the 9.
100%.
Yeah.
Naturally, she was
she can do that.
defending. Yeah, naturally she was defending, and her position is a winger, and she's kind of doing that.
Scoring conditions, Mike. It's an overload out wide, a little combination play to unlock Doyle down the side, and it's Haley McCutcheon, numbers even inside the box, and she does so well to adjust.
Now you have to understand, Seattle's goalkeeper is nominated to be goalkeeper of the year.
That was great.
Kind of like Anna, right? Kind of like Anna, right? A lot of people online were kind of blaming her a little bit for the goal. Kind of, she could have done a little more.
I think it happened so fast, and she thought that ball. She didn't expect that ball to go back across to Haley. She thought she was going to shoot on that side, so she went out over there to like close the angle, and then the ball comes back across to Haley. She doesn't get her feet back in position to be in the middle of the goal, and Haley puts it right in the corner, just far enough away from her that she reaches for it, and even though it's not that like Shinta says is a weak but just good enough shot. It was a P dribbler, right? It was a P roller, but it was right in the corner, and that way she just couldn't get to it. But the sequence, I think, is really what beats the goalkeeper, in my opinion. Is because the fact that it all happened so quickly. The ball from Marta out to Julie, back into Haley, literally goes around takes 3 or 4 of their defenders out. The goalkeeper was expecting someone to step up, make a tackle, or she was expecting a shot on that side. It comes in, and then a great finish by Haley, who's just apparently, the person to put it in the back of the net in the playoffs.
Look, if I understand Marta will always be the captain, and she's definitely deserves to be. But if there's somebody else that should be the captain, in my opinion, after Kalina Danner, I think it should be Haley McCutcheon. I mean, she's just.
I think Emily Sams is my only other shout I would put in there as well as like option.
Sams as well, I think. But
yeah, I think there's a future where Sams and Haley are our captains.
Yeah, 100%.
I can see that.
And I'll just read some comments real quick. It says here, Anna had one of her great games. Says of all said words. Shinta, no blunders for 2 more matches, please. I mean, we're two matches away to call Orlando Pride back-to-back NWSL champs.
Yeah.
And the Pride of Orlando, literally, like the word Pride of, like if you type on Gemini, on ChatGPT, on any social media, you put who's the Pride of Orlando or the Orlando Pride. Orlando Pride, Pride or Die says play of Morehouse and McClutcheon is not to be messed with. Shinta 0013 Doll put in a nice cross, getting Haley to play a false 9. That's right. Weak, but it was good, just good enough. 100%. Yeah. And then I was already packing my stuff, guys. I
Luis was
was
like
already.
trying to beat traffic.
I was trying.
Oh,
I
because you're trying to
refilled.
go down for
I
the press
refilled
conference.
my cup with some ice and some
Never leave
agua.
early, Luis. Come on.
Yep. I was already, saying goodbye to Austin and just making sure, hey, I'm packing all my stuff, making sure I'm not forgetting my charger, which happened to me before. And all of a sudden, I thought, yeah, we won 1-0. Boom. And then this happened.
Adames spins through, ball in tow. Adames bouncing. Morehouse. Marta continues.
Unbelievable, bro.
A deflating run from Marta into the box. Marta goes down. Penalty. She just dashed 100.
Earning the Orlando Pride.
Now, mind you, John, here, everyone was like, whoa, like unbelievable. Like this is like Super Saiyan 4. If you're like into anime, like transformation, like in your eyes. Now, mind you, Phoebe McClernand, former Orlando Pride player, bro. Like she played with Marta. Obviously, she parted ways with the Pride. Completely ended I think her defending career in this play. Make her look like a joke, be honest with you. It was just all pure heart. Unbelievable
And a
play,
penalty
bro.
kick.
Look at that.
Sam Meza eventually would commit the foul.
Yep. And Sam Mesa, unfortunately,
Hey, I'm a big fan of Sam Meza, but she should just take Marta out immediately there. I don't understand what they're doing. Like, it's the end of the game. Just like it's the same way when I'm like, just kick it long, like just get it out. Like there's game states like really matters, and at the very end of a game there, it's not going to matter if you take a yellow if you just foul Marta. The wild thing is that you chase her on both sides all the way up the pitch, where one of you could have just fouled her the whole time outside of the box.
Yeah.
They get into the box, you've let her go, she might as well let her shoot at this point, and then Sam Mesa trips her in the box. It's like just yeah, not. I mean, it wasn't really. I would never even blame Sam Mesa. I think it's more the defender from behind actually who trips her. Mesa comes in front. Sorry, and I forget the name of the center back who trips her. But
I think Phoebe had too much respect. I think Phoebe had too much respect for her that she didn't want to foul her, or maybe thinking, "Hey, I'm gonna get a penalty." Right.
Well,
but
I'm talking about way before the box. Like,
yeah, I agree.
When they're running alongside her, they could have just tripped her or taken her out, or she wasn't last player on goal at that point.
And then obviously Sam Mesa, then she shows sometimes a little bit of inexperience, in my opinion, by just kind of fully like knocking her down.
Penalty kick from.
I mean, that's just such a.
Sam Meza eventually would commit the foul.
I mean, technically, it should be a kind of like a yellow or red, in my opinion.
This is crazy.
And then this right here, this, guys, I don't know what you think, John. This is post-chaos, soccer culture driving, resilience-driven, 2025, 2024 Orlando Pride. Like, this is your new Orlando Pride. This is what Orlando Pride is all about. I mean, Marta has won absolutely everything a world-class player wants to win or has won. Has played in every major big stage on the world of soccer, and she gives the ball. It's just a full circle moment to the inspiration on the double. The inspiration of the double and that extra pep in their step and that adrenaline shot, that resilience, that grit came from Luana's unfortunate sickness that she had and how she was dealing with that and how she beat that sickness, that illness. And it just came full circle by now say, hey, Luana, you carried us in 2024. That's the way I took it. You carried us in 2024 with you battling with us together, and now help us also battle this monster now moving forward. Like, put us out there. And to me, that is what, not only the beautiful thing of the sport, but it's a beautiful thing of the culture of the team. It's a we moment as them being the pride. It's not just individual stars like it used to be before, and there was completely disconnection of what Orlando meant to these people half the time. Now there's a true culture, and I mean, this was just a beautiful moment. What are your thoughts on this? Let's watch it first, and then you can talk.
What a moment this could be. Luana!
Fantastic.
So that Luana could score from 12.
What a selfless act from Marta to hand over the ball to Luana, and she was never gonna miss that opportunity. She's rewarded for all of the adversity, the fighting, the scrapping that she's had to do to overcome.
What are your thoughts, John, on that gesture?
I think Marta's, not only is a really wonderful gesture to give the ball to Luana. It's just like a spiritual thing to say, here, have the ball, because you've been coming back from, this horrible disease and had to go through all of that last year. And, this is like a kind of completion moment for that. But also I think that Marta is just very intelligent in the way that she knows how to rally the troops, right? And I think that she knows that, yeah, she could put the ball in the back of the net there, but if she gives the ball to Luana and that lifts Luana, that lifts, the whole group as well in a different way, because it's a lot of it is about those, stories and those connections and the way that they work together as a team. So, by doing that, it just creates so much positivity around the team. And not only that, is she knows, like she said in the press conference, Luana's a really, really good penalty taker as well. Like in many ways, is that we shouldn't bat an eye at Luana taking a penalty whatsoever. She's extremely good at taking penalties. So yeah, I think it was just a moment for Marta to say, I can do something selfless, not for myself, but for the team and also for my teammate. And it was, just really special. You see all these. We've had so many moments like that with Luana coming back, when she made her first game back and now her first goal, etc. So I think it's another one of those moments where we can all cathartically say, wow, this is great to have her back on the field. And yeah, great penalty as well.
Yeah, and I do want to add, if I was pushing for Luana to be the starter in this game. But I trust Seb, so my bad, Mr. Seb. I think she came in the perfect moment. And I think Ali Lemos too has stepped up tremendously defensively, very scrappy in the last 2 games for the Pride. But it's just the gesture and the smiles all around, which were literally the same smiles of 2024. Came back vividly in this game, and I hope really truly, and I know this, I have no doubt, whatever crap they're talking plus this moment that Luana just had that carried us to this right here, it was going to speak volumes of what's coming next for the Orlando Pride. And with that, we're going to read some more comments, and then we're going to dive into what are your bold predictions there, John, on what these last 4 teams left in this NWSL playoffs, the toughest league, in my opinion, in soccer. You have to play the same teams almost 3 times a year. Let's do some comments. Jay Texas 9394. Which teammate ran with Marta? That's a good question. Got outrun, played by a senior citizen. No, come on. McLaren requested a trade and official refused to sign, says Shinta. Bye-bye, ladies. Enjoy the off season. Yeah, my official, I remember McLaren could have stayed.
Leaving already? That's crazy.
McLaren was one of the few that I would have not mind staying. But again, if McLaren would have stayed, we would have not had Emily Sam. So
maybe they're going to ask AI about which players they should renew contracts for.
Ride or die. The gate smacking on the Luana goal was awesome on the broadcast. Sporty Mouse, it says Angelina read up on the right side. Yeah, you're completely right. Thank you, Sporty Mouse. But yeah, we got 4 teams left. Gotham. You got the Pride. Washington Spirit, which won by penalties against Racing Louisville, and to me, one of Courtney Peterson and also Taylor Korniak, right there, and Portland Thorns, the resurgence of Portland Thorns against San Diego, another favorite of the league. So a lot of the league favorites have been eliminated. The only ones left standing, literally, are going to be Spirit and Gotham. I don't think the league is keen to have Orlando or the Thorns win this, but
honestly, of this Final Four, the only one I'm kind of surprised is there is Gotham. Like, if you had told me like it's going to be KC, Spirit, Orlando Pride, and Thorns in the Final Four, I'd have been like, 100%. That makes sense. Like, I knew that we were going to be able to be a team this year and, be at least a contender again with the same squad. So Final Four for us makes sense. KC, we know all of their Washington, same thing. I feel like the 3 of us are kind of the most dominant 3 teams of the last couple of years in the league, both in the table and in the postseason. And Gotham, of course, they've been in and around that conversation. So for them to upset KC was massive. That's a big deal for them. But I think really it spoke to the fact that KC were just out of their key players, no Shawinga, no Michelle Cooper, and that affected them more. And I think they weren't able to really recover, and they're kind of on a downward spiral at the end of it. Like, they came into the playoffs not as hot as you would hope, like not like we kind of, they hit that down spiral, I think, at the wrong time and weren't able to bounce back in time for the playoffs. And Gotham took advantage of that. Washington, tight game against Racing Louisville. Like, Racing Louisville, man, I feel for them, and they made the playoffs, but for me, they're the definition of a mid NWSL team, and to come 7th and go out in penalties in the playoffs in your first game is pretty mid. So sorry for them, but I think they are what they are. Washington Spirit, got to watch out for them. I think honestly, it's going to be us and them in the final. Is my prediction once again, which is crazy to think that we play another final against them in another even further west, if that's what happens. And then Portland, San Diego. I mean, Portland, I think, are a great team and got better throughout the season. Olivia Moultrie, I got a lot of respect and a lot of time for her. Her and Sam Coffey are probably the best 2 midfield combo that you can have in this league. And then San Diego, like they kind of burned out too soon, I think, and coming into the playoffs weren't as hot as they were earlier in the season. Like, early San Diego were on a burner in the top 3 and looked like they could be a bright team this year and be very dangerous. And as the season went on, they kind of fizzled out. And then we kind of saw that against Portland. So not really a lot of upsets and surprises, really just the KC versus New York result. And really, like I said, when you look at what those rosters were, in some ways you're like, it's not that surprising as the teams on the day and the way they performed. I think New York just were more hungry. They've got a bit of a chip on their shoulder. They want to prove that they're not, the 8th seed or whatever. There was an interesting press conference, I'm sure. In like 10 minutes, we're going to have our guests come on from the Gotham podcast and we can ask them all about that. But yeah, in terms of the Final Four, almost as expected for me, Luis.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I think everybody in the league is surprised that KC's not there. But I'm actually glad that KC's not there.
Well, yeah, great for us.
Yeah, I think.
And also, I did not want to play KC.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't want to play KC either.
No, they're a bogey team for us, I feel like.
Yep, and I think Washington, Racing Louisville. I think in the end, penalties. That could have been another upset based on how the 90 minutes went, in my opinion. I commend I think Racing Louisville is going to be one of the top teams in the league next season. I think they're going to be definitely right up there. I think Washington Spirit, there are going to be probably a lot of changes if they don't win anything this year, which to me kind of, with all due respect, I think it's probably going to go that way. I have a feeling this final, I'm hoping it's going to be Orlando versus Portland. Portland beat Orlando 1-0 in the beginning of the year. Then Orlando beat Portland also this year. So we're even Stevens. I would love to see an Orlando Pride Portland Thorns final. And obviously for Portland fans, it's going to be closer because they just have to go, to was it, they're going to be playing San Jose and in San Francisco, the Bay Area. So
for Portland, no,
right.
they're playing in Washington.
Oh,
were they? Do you mean
no?
the final?
The final.
Oh, the final will be in the Bay
right.
Area.
Yeah. So I'm
Regardless.
going for Orlando, Portland as a final, John.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't want that. I don't want to play Portland in the final. I think we know the enemy we've got with Washington, right? So I would like to see that final again because I think that honestly, I think that we can.
You want to see
that
that final again? I don't, bro.
I feel like we've played them a lot and we learned how to beat them. Portland, I think, is a different wrinkle. And I think we've struggled against Portland this year. And yeah, I mean, we'll see. But honestly, just making it to the final is great. Really.
I agree with you.
Compared to where we were a couple of months ago. So let's 100%. See what we can do against New York. But yeah, I think we got as good a chance as any. I think there's no one to me that's like, oh, these are the clear out and out favorites. I mean, maybe some of the pundits will say, oh, it's going to be New York because they knocked out KC, or it's going to be Washington because they're the highest seed and they're, going to play at home against Portland or whatever. Like, you can find a million reasons as to whoever in this final four, but I don't think there's a clear and obvious like standout. I think if KC were still in it here and we're having to go to their stadium and they've got all their stars and the Showinga's performing well, but I think the really strong teams in this league, I think Washington and us are the ones that are the most consistent. I think also playoffs is a different beast, right? I think that's look at what happened with San Diego. Look what happened with the Reign. I think that these teams that again the playoffs, and I think it's a different story. And this squad knows how to be a playoff winning team because we did it last year. They know how to deal with that pressure. I think they thrive under that pressure and they thrive under everybody counting them out for sure. So yeah, I mean, let's roll on 2 more games and then we got another star.
Games,
That's
John.
all we need. 2 more games. And
2 more games and then Thanksgiving is going to be so
And then we
sweet.
have to release another documentary. It's like, hey, do you really see us now? Because like you probably should, because now we have 2 stars. So then we're starting to build a legacy, and there's whole kinds of things going on at that point.
I think the next Pride documentary should be, if they win this, it should be just titled Culture. But I mean, because this is going to be
building a future.
This is going to be etched in history. I mean, it's going to put a lot of. I mean, also people within Orlando that never seen women's sports are going to now be forced to see what's this Pride all about. Yeah. I mean, I like it. I also want to say if, and then we'll go to the Atlanta because we have to move to the Atlanta. If Orlando Pride plays the final against the Thorns, Mr. Seb Hines.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, Mr. Seb. You better look dapper because you're not gonna get beaten by Rob Gale, bro. Rob Gale comes up with
there's no competition there, man.
With the
Rob
pompadour,
he's being worn by his suits. Seb is, out there looking fly.
I think Seb could look much flyer than Rob Gale, man.
I think our compared to the rest of the coaches in this league, Seb is definitely wears the best looking attire. I gotta say that for sure. I've seen some pretty bad looks on the sideline this year. I also want to say on this is if we do play Portland in the final, then there's going to be so many Portland Thorns fans there because that's just like down the West Coast for them. And so the club, like I hope they do this anyway, whoever we play, if we get to the final, but let's find a way to like get all the fans out there. I don't know. The Wilfs put up the money. Like we've seen other clubs do it.
Yeah.
Put up the money, charter a flight to put 300 of us at least on a flight, and we will go out there and we will shout and we will go crazy. But I just can't stand the idea of us being in a final all the way on the West Coast, no one going, rightfully so, because like who can afford that right now and make that trip? And then Portland having a bunch of people because it's like just down the coast for them. And, you know, also whatever, I don't know, Bay sells all their tickets to the Portland Thorns like last year that happened. So I just don't want to repeat if we get to the final. Like I need more Orlando Pride fans in that stadium if it's 100%, a final. So 100%. If the club has to like, you know, fork out a little money to make that happen, to charter some flights, I think they should do it. I think we should do it.
Look, it's right now tough times for a lot of people. And if the commissioners watching or listening, I hopefully, with all the respect, ma'am, you just do it a neutral site for the higher seed. Like honestly, like it doesn't have to be that far. I mean, there are flights for like $800-900 just to San Francisco. It's not a lot of people are going to be able to afford it.
If they want to show off the stadiums of the league, do an all-star game.
Exactly.
Do East versus West, or do All-Star versus League AMX, or whatever you want to do, and do your fancy showing off the stadium and all the media and all the stuff you want to do. Do that then, and just let the number one seed host all the way through. Like that's all. It's just not. Let's, you know, equality here is more important in my opinion than being like, oh look, we're in San Francisco now. Anyway, let's move on to our next point.
Yeah, let's move on to our next. Right here, you have Atlanta.
Yes, indeed. Bring that up for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
We've got some information here on a new team they'll be joining NWSL. We have got a team coming into Atlanta. Shout out to Scarves and Spikes, who are our equivalent over in Atlanta, and they cover the Atlanta United team and everything to do with, you know, Atlanta on that side. Arthur Blank, of course, the owner of the Falcons, owner of the Atlanta United, etc. A guy that has been investing a lot in men's soccer, wants to build like the U.S. national team headquarters out there in Atlanta. So a lot of people for a long time have been like, why isn't there an Atlanta NWSL team? The money's there. It would work in that city. There was rumors of it on Monday, Tuesday. It has officially been announced. So this is really interesting from our perspective because, of course, on the men's side, there's, you know, a certain chant that always comes to my mind when we think about Atlanta and how we really don't like them. I would say for a lot of people, they are arguably Orlando City's biggest rival is Atlanta. So I think it will be really exciting to have a rival, a local rival, a Southeastern rival in Atlanta join the league. So Orlando Pride can kind of have a little bit of that. I feel like we're lacking that kind of local, you know, rivalry aspect where we got a team that we really just don't like because they are who they are. And Atlanta, starting from that point of view with a lot of Orlando City fans, et cetera, probably already, I saw some people posting being like, I immediately don't like them. So maybe this is a natural rivalry here, Luis.
No, 100%. I honestly think it's going to be a good rivalry coming up for sure. The rivalry between Orlando City and Atlanta United, it's real. And, you know, again, Atlanta's been trying to overshadow Orlando for a long time, just with a lot of sporting events, you know, a lot of the teams, baseball, football, all you name it. So I think, I'm excited that Atlanta's getting a team. I think it's going to be great. Orlando Pride doesn't really have a true rivalry. I don't, you know, within a close distance, there's not a Tampa team or a Miami team or nothing like that. So, but I'm delighted to have them bring it on. And again, just look what Atlanta did with United on the first year.
Yeah.
They're gonna try to replicate that in the women's team, I'm sure.
I wonder what's going to be like the name. How are they going to tie it into the name of the men's team? Are they going to do that? Like, is it going to be black and red and like all the colors of what we
Probably.
associate with Atlanta and everything that they do on a game day with like they do that weird thing where they like nail a railroad pick into the
Maybe
I don't
Atlanta
know.
Dream or something because of
Atlanta
Martin Luther King.
Atlanta United Women. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
I think
it's gonna
Atlanta
be.
Dream sounds good.
We'll see. But a new team here in the league is always exciting. All right, moving on to our main event. We have a special guest here from Soccer Over Gotham. I hope I said that right. Gary is the name of the podcast, but Gary has joined us to preview Orlando Pride versus Gotham. Welcome to the podcast, Gary.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Louise, for having me on this podcast. I always love coming on to other people's podcasts and spouse some knowledge and get to know you guys, the whole thing. Just quickly, I started our podcast about 5 years ago, and we were trying to like get in touch with everyone in the league. We're trying to meet like media people, supporter groups, and try to get the lay of the land and tell some stories and learn more about the sport. And there's still some teams where like we've never been able to talk to a media person or a supporter group. However, like Orlando was always so cool to us. Like we've interviewed like the Black Swan Drinking Club. We've interviewed some of the other podcasters in the Orlando space, and like you guys were always so welcoming and so thoughtful, and like we're always like reciprocal. So I just appreciate like anytime someone from Orlando asks me to be on their podcast, I'm in right away because you guys are awesome.
Wow, we'd love to hear that. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it, man.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on with Gotham. You must be excited. I told you in that text that you put a smile on my face after you beat KC.
We did everybody a favor. Everybody should be thanking us. Yeah, it was something that as Gotham fans, as we know under the Juan Carlos era, like Gotham is a different beast in the playoffs and when games that matter in knockout round games. I think we only lost the one time to KC in like the Summer Cup champions when like half our team was on national team duty. We were bringing in like retired players just to fill the roster. But like in like knockout games, Gotham is another level. They lock in, they're smooth, they're consistent. They know how to pull teams around. They know how to take the crowd out of the game, which they did in this game. They took the KC crowd, which was super loud, and like the 15th minute was dead quiet. They just know how to take the sting out of a game, control a game, and they know how to put teams away. And also, they love drama.
Kind of tell us about that KC game. Would you feel like you guys did really well? I know that there was, injuries on both sides, so that wasn't really the full rosters of both teams. But I feel like you played a much better game than KC. Can you talk about what you enjoyed about that performance and what you think you'll bring to the Orlando Pride?
For some reason, like some games, I know the championship game when Gotham won, for some reason I was like really calm. I just felt like they had it and they were the team to win that game. I had the same kind of energy going into this one. They obviously made it very nervy at the end, but what Gotham did in this game was first coming with no fear. They went right at KC. They did not allow them to push their tempo on us. They controlled the ball. They had almost 70% possession in the first half. So they were just pulling KC around and out of position and essentially like dominating the flanks where Dabinia was really strong. Gotham pretty much shut her down for most of the game and just overloaded the flanks, pulled KC out of their low block and found balls inside. And I think they just did a really good job of just keeping the ball away from KC because you can't counterattack you if they don't hold the ball.
Who in your team do you feel like, are sort of like the key players to watch? I mean, you talk about possession. I know Rose Lavelle is one that's really important in that possession game that you guys play.
Yeah, and we could talk about Rose. KC honed in on Rose this game. They had two players following her around the entire game, and she was pretty much invisible in this game. But Gotham still found the way to play around her, and still found a way to get balls into the box and create scoring chances from that. So yes, Rose is always something. She's like Marta, where like there's just magic in their boots, and one minute everything's calm, and then they're making some magic happen out of nowhere. Those are players that just next level and they can just do that. But I think Jalen Howell in the middle of the park has been sensational for Gotham this season, controlling not only where the game's being played, but she's been physical, taking smart fouls, and just driving the tempo of the game. So I think she is going to be the one to watch in this game.
How important has been? How you doing, Gary? Thank you for asking. Yeah, wanted to ask you how important it's been Jaden's show this year for Gotham, and for such a young forward, scored that decisive goal, and also provided the assist, I guess game winner. What are your thoughts on is she going to have a big impact too for against Orlando?
She's been worth every penny that we paid the record transfer fee to get her over here. And we've been covering this team a long time. And there was a time when players would refuse to play for us. Like we had draft picks who we drafted and they were like, nope, sorry, going to Europe. I'm not even dealing with this team. And now it's like, we're such a weird spot where players want to come here. We're building such an incredible roster. And Jaden Shaw was crying after her first game, how happy she was just to be in Gotham. And it's just a really good feeling. And that is, I think, translated onto the field. She's back to her old self again. And if you watched the game last time, she was just impacting the game in so many different ways. And in the last moment before Katie Stengel puts that ball away, she's got her back to goal and makes this great just flick on into Katie's path. And so many players would drop the ball and try to make it themselves. But her ability to just lay it off to Katie, just unselfish, amazing. So she's impacting the game, not only scoring goals, but on the other side too, assisting, and just she's a cog in the machine now. She's awesome.
I liked her press conference that she had after talking about we're eighth. It doesn't matter that we're eighth and we're the underdogs. I mean, we pride ourselves, Orlando, being on the underdogs. We're not always the favorites of the league, let's say, and often overlooked. So we kind of get that mentality as well. Is that something you feel drives this team in the playoffs, that underdog mentality?
Yeah, New Jersey, New York always has that grit and has that chip on our shoulders. And I think it plays into Gotham's hands because they are one of the best road teams in the league because they don't change their style and they do better when teams come out to play against them. Teams that sit in generally do better against Gotham. They just don't allow Gotham any space near the box. But teams like KC had no fear of Gotham, so they came out and played, and Gotham turned them over, kept the ball away from them. It played really well into their hands. And I think they like that underdog kind of role because Gotham's not an 8th seed. That's a whole thing. They're masquerading as an 8th seed. They're completely a top 4, top 5 team. So question for you guys. Do you feel that either of these teams is an underdog in this game?
I think we both have that kind of same, gritty, like you said, the same gritty underdog mentality. So you can't have two underdogs, right? In some ways, I'd say you guys are the underdog because we are the reigning champions. I think often that's overlooked. We didn't have the strongest midseason. And no Barbara Banda is a big loss to us, but we have managed to figure out a way. And I feel like our defense, is as strong as it's ever been. And often that's what wins us championships. So I think it's for us is are we the team that were the team last year again? If so, then, I think we have a very good chance. And it's looking like that. That's what happened against Seattle. So we're hopeful, but we still kind of see ourselves as that sort of underdog in this, this race, because often so much is talked about Washington and KC and other teams in the league. We're often overlooked.
Yeah.
So after the actual, the season ended with a double last year, a lot of the fans and pundits from other teams were just like, we think this was just luck. I don't think this really happening. This happened with this team. And then Orlando was getting a lot of hate on how the game against Washington happened. And it carried over to, what just happened a few days ago in another podcast, with one of the players from Gotham too, former players of Gotham, speaking about the pride. And it's just, it's just that underdog kind of, mentality. I think that carries us from last season even. Now, I think for you guys, yes, you guys already been into the promised land before. So you guys kind of, in my opinion, feels a little bit more, I think maybe your first time getting 8th seeded, before no one would think Gotham was going to be not in the top 4, top 3 in the NWSL. I feel like, yes, I think both teams have shown great resilience and they have phenomenal players. But I'm glad that we're both in this position. I think that was what makes the sport even great. Just to showcase two teams that are gonna, go at it right away from minute one. So I think it's just gonna make the game even better. So I'm just happy that Gotham was able to really broke down the wall for KC and that whole mirage, and then now this is the last step. Hopefully. Sorry, Gary. Sorry if I cut you off.
No, it's perfect. No, I agree with all of that. So yeah.
You talked about earlier in the season and sort of your away form. We experienced that when you guys came to our house earlier this year. I specifically remember Esther doing something really outrageous on one of those goals. But in that head-to-head, we also went to your house earlier in the season and took 2 goals away from you. So it's a very strange sort of scenario on the head-to-head this year when we have faced up. Both teams have managed to get 2 goals away from their house in the other team's stadium. So I don't know. We'll see kind of how it balances out. But I think your attack definitely is very dynamic. Like I talked about Esther, but you've got a lot of players there that are very intelligent soccer players that will do a lot of dynamic things in the attack and will try to pull Orlando Pride around, right? Like we like to be very solid defensively and we will sit in and we'll probably take away some of that space for you guys to try and play in. So are you able to do a similar thing to us that you did to KC? I think is a key question for me. How do you see this one, Gary? Like what's the key to success for Gotham to win this game? And what do you have to do to kind of stop Orlando Pride?
The playoffs are a different animal. And during the season, I was sitting in the press booths at Sports Illustrated Stadium, and like their seats are like all the way up on top. So like you're like sitting on the roof basically. So you're looking down on the field, and Orlando out of possession just jumps into this 8-9 player block right in the middle of the low block, and they just suffocate the middle of the field and give you nothing. And Gotham really has to figure out how to pull Orlando away from the middle of the field by keeping the ball wide, overloading the wide spaces, being patient out wide with the ball, getting really real overlapping, getting Bruninho overlapping. So I think it's really about, does Orlando, because you're at home, because you want to show off at front of your fans, do you come out to play? Or are you going to sit in, try to sneak one on a counterattack? Who knows? But I think Gotham's best chance is trying to pull Orlando out of that low block and see how they can do it.
Definitely. Is there anyone on the Orlando team, outside of Marta or the really obvious players that you're like, okay, this is the one that we got to watch out for because she's really dangerous?
Yeah, I have a lot of love for some of Orlando's players, and some of those I was wanting to have on Gotham. Sam's was one of them. I was really hoping Gotham drafted her. I know she was going to be special. Carson Pickett's always been one of my favorite players. She's always been underrated, and I love every time to see her playing. She's a Gotham Sky Blue killer. She always plays that killer final pass against us, and so maybe I prefer not to see her on the field. But other than that, like I love Emily Sams. I think she's an incredible defender, underrated as well. She should also be a mainstay in the national team. So I think she's going to be an interesting player to watch. Especially, we don't know exactly if Esther is going to play or not. How does she hold up against Jaden Shaw if she's in the center of the park? That's going to be interesting as well. But I think that position is going to be very interesting to watch.
We love to hear that love for Emily Sams because we agree. Like we feel like she should feature more in the U.S. national team and often wonder why she isn't, because she's a top class center back in this league for sure. I want to ask you the same question about Gotham. Who should we be looking out for? Who are the players that we're going to be like, when they get on the ball? Of course, we talked about Rose Lavelle, but you got so many great technical players out there. Which are the ones that you think are going to punish us?
I would always I mentioned Jalen Howell earlier. I think she's the mainstay and the engine that runs this team in the middle of the park. But you could just have to watch out for the outside backs. Lily Reel is a superstar in the making. There's nothing that she can't do. She can pass the ball. She can play. She can play defense. She can get up the field. She can take players on. She's a rare super talent that again should be the national team's left back from here on out. I think she's that talented. Has that high the ceiling. But I think the most fun player is another Brazilian. You guys love your Brazilians down there. We like our Brazilians up here. So Bernini is just so much fun when she's overlapping, running across the field, getting in the middle, and just I think her being able to slow the game down and play balls in from wide areas, I think is going to be very important for Gotham pulling Orlando apart.
Yeah, she's played some good games against us this year as well. And Bernina, when she has been on the field. So, all right, Luis, you got any more questions before we do our predictions?
Yeah, when it comes to, it's going to be a tactical battle between Seb Hines and Juan Carlos Amoros. Obviously, Juan Carlos has a pretty good resume on him. Seb is kind of, came from the bottom. Now he had the double last year. How do you see that tactical matchup between them two? What are some maybe qualities you see in Seb, and maybe what are some traits that Juan Carlos, that you've seen? You've been to the trainings, you've been to the games, that you could see that he could exploit against this Orlando Pride.
Yeah, a lot of respect for Seb. I think he was put in a pretty bad position when he first started there.
Yeah,
he stabilized that team, and the players bought in. And even if this roster wasn't up to par at the beginning, he had them bought in, and that's something that's really hard to do. And they played really well. Very similar to what Bev Yanez is doing over at Racing this year. Should be coach of the year. I'm just putting that out there. Anyway, so I think Seb, the only thing I notice about Seb is that seems to be very set in his ways, and he doesn't really change much. He has a set starting 11. Mostly he doesn't really rotate players too much. He seems to have a tactical set that he uses, and he doesn't really adjust too much in games. He kind of just lets Marta do Marta and play around her. I think Juan Carlos is a little bit more flexible in his design. And I think he comes up with like a unique game plan and wrinkles for every coach. So I really don't know who's going to come out of this one and winning, but I have so much respect for both coaches. And I would be happy to have either one of those coaches.
100%.
If we were to push you to give us a prediction for this game and a score prediction, you can 100% back your team. We will not be offended.
Yeah, it's okay. We're not gonna get mad.
Oh gosh, I don't usually make predictions.
That's fair. If you're someone who's I don't want to put it out there in the universe.
I try to manifest things, but if I was taking a step back and looking at this, I think it's going to be a nail biter. Gotham has an inability to do anything without drama, as you saw in that last game. The latest goal in the extra time, and then the latest goal, like, oh gosh, it's crazy. They do it to us every time. So I expect this game to either go to like penalties, or it's going to be like a 2-1 game, score late, and probably Gotham can probably pull it off late. But you got Marta, so anything's possible.
Right. That is something we haven't discussed, is the lack of travel for Orlando Pride. This will be our third home game in a row, which should actually be really great for us. Whereas you guys obviously been traveling around. There was plenty of rest of the weeks in between this, but that is something to note, of course. A lot easier for Orlando Pride in this scenario.
Yeah, I agree.
Luis, your score prediction?
I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Pride. 2-1 Pride. I think Gotham kind of gets the first one, and they're gonna have to build from behind, and hopefully it's a sign for better things to come for this team. Without Barbara Banda, I think it's been quite a roller coaster, and honestly, I think being in this position, it's tremendous for the fans. And I know that it's going to be a whole rally for also Orlando City fans coming and support. So Orlando Magic fans too are coming to support. So for a lot of those fans, first time watching women's soccer. So it's gonna be quite a good atmosphere, hopefully. And I think this team is, for everything that just happened. I think they're going to go for the hunt. I think they're going to go for the hunt. Now, I think Gotham looks very strong. I mean, I think all around, I think Gotham is a super talented team. And I'm happy that we're able to face them. I think it's going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, I'm excited for the home game. Thank you very much for knocking out KC to make that happen for us. We appreciate that. I agree. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's two very, like we talked about, gritty, determined teams that are going to go at each other, and I feel like it could go to penalties or to extra time. I feel like that's very likely. I see it like a 1-0 or a 2-1. It's a one game goal in this somewhere difference kind of game for me. So your heart, Gary, I hope you're doing okay there. We're gonna ask you one more question. For us, in terms of absences and illnesses, well, we don't currently, of course, have Barbara Banda. Kylie Danner has been out for a long time with something. Ali Watts has just been called out for knee injury right before this game for Seattle. That's why we went with Julie Doyle up front. And Summer Yates is also out with a lower leg injury. I don't expect any of them to be back probably for this game. I don't think they're going to push them for that. None of these are particularly key players for Orlando. From your side on Gotham, are you aware? I know we talked about Esther, but what's the injury situation that you're aware of as of now?
According to Amros, he said she could have played some minutes last game, but it was 30 degrees. And you don't want to mess up a hip on that. It's going to be hopefully better weather this weekend, correct? Over in Orlando, better.
Should be. Although it's a cold front right now, but usually it's quite nice this time of year.
Yeah. So I assume she will probably play maybe the second half. That's my best guess with her. But other than that, Gotham is pretty healthy. We
so
just
no
got
other key players or anybody else that you guys are missing at the moment.
That's great. Ella Stevens is back as of last week. She's a game changer. So we'll see what happens. She can play, but yeah. But I think the last 5 minutes of this game is going to be wild for us too. And let's not go to penalties. Can we agree on that?
If we got to go to penalties, I'm excited personally.
It's gonna be Berger versus Morehouse. Gonna be insane.
Wild.
Yes,
wild.
Indeed.
Luis, we can at least agree. We can at least agree that the team who wins this game is winning it all, right?
I think
I agree.
Okay,
I'm hopeful.
We got that.
Washington still are.
I know.
We saw them last year, so we know that they're a beast to be tamed as well.
Yeah. Just if Gotham does, let's just say we get past you guys, and then we go and play Washington. If we beat Washington, that's got to be the craziest playoff run in history, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Isn't that what happened a couple of years ago? 8th won it.
We were 6th seed.
6th. Okay, so it wasn't 8th. So you were still down there, though.
Yeah, but man, going through you guys in Washington would be wild.
Well, if you guys beat us, I'm going to be supporting Gotham the rest of the
me too,
way.
100%.
That's what I was like, take Washington out, please.
Same.
Portland Thorns. So thank you very much for being here, Gary. We appreciate you.
Yeah, always a pleasure, guys. Again, thank you, Luis and John. I'll talk to you guys anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate you.
All righty. I think that about concludes our show. Luis, if you want to read our final comments, and we'll get ready to head out and be ready for playoffs this weekend.
Says here, amen, because I was not traveling to KC ever again. It's all sad words. Says Sunday should be high 70s. We'll see. Agreed. I don't watch penalties. I will leave. Says all sad words. It was 2 years ago today, per my Facebook memories too. Says of all sad words. The other morning before the quarterfinals, I was on Discord. If Gotham beats KC, we then have to play a Gotham team that was capable of beating KC. Yeah, true, but I mean, honestly, I want to play Gotham, and I think there's a lot of things being said. I think the team is gonna be fired up. I think the whole squad. I mean, the vibe that I've been getting from some of the players too. So they're ready to go. Yeah, we know that feeling, and yeah, the flight I bought in the spring for $200 is $800 now. Yeah, and I wanted to ask Gary that, but obviously we shortened time, but what he thought about playing in the Bay Area, it potentially, if Gotham beats Orlando,
Yeah.
potentially playing the Bay Area, it's like annoying, man. It's even for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's only really Portland
They got to
these Final
change
Four
that.
that it's relatively close for, and even that's not that close.
Yeah,
It's not. It's like halfway
gotta,
down the West Coast.
Yeah, they gotta change that up.
So
it can be doing that.
For sure. Well, we appreciate Gary coming out. It's always great to have a perspective from the other side, especially in a big game like this, and kind of get a little insider information on Gotham and how they're feeling. And like we said, got a lot of respect for them. They did it against KC. I'm sure it's going to be a hard fought game. Two teams that are, really want it. And hopefully it's going to be a great game for us all to watch on Sunday. So if you have not got your tickets, I don't know what you're doing, but go out there, get your tickets. They are like literally
$22.
Yeah, 2 for $22 is the offer that they're doing. So it's cheaper than a beer in the stadium to take you and somebody. I know a lot of the people that watch this pod are probably season ticket members or people that don't live there but are just mega fans and wish they could come. And all of y'all will be in spirit. But if you're an Orlando City fan who watches this, or you're just a casual Orlando Pride fan that's been to a few games, and you're like, hey, I didn't get to go to a game this year, please come out on Sunday because this team could use your support. We had a really great crowd against Seattle in the last playoff game. We can do even better than that. We can get more people out. We can have more people in the wall. We can bring that same energy and that passion. And you can tell that it makes a big difference to the players. If you can't tell, go watch the press conference on Loud and Proud Orlando's YouTube channel from the last game, and you can see Marta's reaction. You can see Haley's reaction, Seb's reaction. It means so much to these players to have us out there supporting. So if you're not doing anything on Sunday and you got to spare $22, even $11, because you can split it with somebody. If you've got that $11, go out there, buy yourself a Pride ticket, and come support the Orlando Pride this weekend in a huge game against Gotham.
Yeah, I mean, people need to show out. I mean, there's a lot of talk, not a lot of action sometimes. Like, let's do it, guys. I mean, if we are the soccer city of Florida, and Florida is truly purple, let's show out like this. Let's show the Pride some appreciation. I mean, they're the closest to get a second star right here in their crest. And it's a testament of the great organization that the Pride have become, with good leadership, with a good coaching staff, and a lot of support from their diehard fans. The diehard fans that maybe 3 years ago were looking at this team, they probably had no faith, or maybe they did have some faith, but there was nothing. The team was not producing absolutely nothing. We fast forward the past 2 years, and it's been tremendous. So, we are in a good position, and just come support the Pride. Yeah, like John was saying, one beer at Broken Strings is probably more expensive than parking from those guys that keep harassing me.
It costs you more to park than it will to buy your tickets to this, right? It's 3 p.m. on Sunday, so if your NFL team is not doing so hot this year, I think why bother this weekend? Just come watch Orlando Pride instead. So thank you all for being here. If you have not done so, go ahead and subscribe to Loud and Proud Orlando's YouTube channel. Mean a lot to us. I know a lot of people watch the video, but not everybody is subscribed who watches the video. So just go ahead and click that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It really helps us out. Also, you can listen to us on Spotify or Apple. If you are on listening, can you please go ahead and drop us a 5-star rating if you think that's what we're worth? That really helps us more people find the podcast. And you can follow us on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, as Loud and Proud Orlando, and on X and on other places as @LPO_podcast. Luis, I'm excited for this weekend. Playoff action.
It's gonna be insane. I just can't. I just can't wait. I usually it's perfect. It's at 3 p.m. It's cold. It's
Look,
nice.
it's chilly. I'm wearing my Orlando Pride.
Look at you.
Look, I got the star. Look at
Wow.
that.
Look at,
Ready to go. You know,
there
I'm
you
gonna be
go.
wearing my championship hat. I'm decked out, ready to go get that second star.
There
Ready
you
to
go. There you
ready
go.
to, you know, knock the bat out of here. We need some, you know,
We need
Bane
to be
memes. We
Bane
need a
from
giant
Batman.
Bane, like, you know,
Tifo.
tifo with like Emily Sams as Bane or something. That's what I'm feeling for like this game. That's
Or
the kind of
Marta.
vibe and energy. I'm like, let's go defend the fortress. Let's go get
100%.
another trophy. Marta got me pumped up. Love y'all. Vamos Pride. See you on Sunday.
Vamos, Pride, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you guys.